Hello, beautiful souls. This video is for anybody who's feeling like the world is becoming unhinged and is feeling powerless to do much about it. First of all, it's important to recognize that everything that's going on in the outside world right now is simply a reflection of what's going on in the spiritual world. We are quite bluntly in the midst of a spiritual war of epic proportions. It's all coming to a head right now. But we also need to understand that the actual front line of this battle is not happening out there, but in here, in our hearts and our minds. And one of the most powerful things we can do right now is to take a big step back and look at the real battle, which is between good and evil. And for some of us, that word evil is going to feel super triggering. So I invite you to acknowledge any emotions that are coming up. But let me explain this in really simple terms. So we have what's called the life wave, and that is the spiritualizing impulse, the divine creative impulse towards higher consciousness. And depending on your religious background, you can also call it Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Krishna consciousness, unity consciousness, divine will. It all describes the same power that's in the world, and energies that align with this, we call it good. Okay? Simple as that. These are the energies that bring about healing and harmony and balance. We also have an impulse that resists this process of higher evolution. And this is an impulse that wants to bring consciousness down and keep it at the material level, okay? So this life force is a spiritualizing influence, and the opposite of that is a materializing influence. But just because it's materializing, does that mean it's evil? Not always. So not if you can accept that the material plane, this physical world, does have a secret purpose in the cosmos. These are materializing energies, so they do play an important part in creating and maintaining the balance of the material world. But ultimately, it can't sustain itself. So taken to an extreme, we can look at it as the death impulse, okay? And there are energies that align within this impulse, okay? And the problem is that this impulse doesn't understand wholeness or interconnectedness. It's all about separation and division and consumption and lowering of consciousness, okay? So when this energy gets out of balance, it wants to swallow everything up until there's nothing left but empty darkness. And that's what we call evil, okay? So coming back to this topic of spiritual warfare, one of the biggest things to realize is that this isn't about the good guys and the bad guys out there. There's no one group or one person out there on social media or in your local community or anyone else who's fully good or fully evil, okay? We're all here on earth. We all carrying both these impulses. And the thing is, we all have light and dark within us, every single one of us. We are all capable of both good and evil. Okay, even that political figure you can't stand or that guru you think speaks nothing but truth, all have both light and dark, capable of good and evil within them. Okay, so what does that mean? It means we need to refocus where we put our attention, because the real battle is really being waged for our attention, okay? A lot of what we're seeing out there is different groups of people being pitted against each other, preventing them from seeing the light in each other, okay? I guarantee you everybody out there thinks that they're on the side of good, right? But it's hard to see that, okay? So there's a saying, where attention goes, energy flows. The dark energies in the world want to take your attention away from the light and put it onto the dark. That alters your energy in such a way that those dark energies can feed off of your energy. Or in other words, you're growing that dark energy within yourself, okay? When you're pulling your attention onto dark things, that actually grows the darkness within you. And so what that does is it gets you to move your energy towards the dark side of the spectrum. And this happens both through our emotional body as well as our thoughts, okay? It can happen with our physical body too, right? When we do things that are bad for us, okay? So when we realize this, it helps us to become hyper aware of our thoughts and feelings, right? So be mindful. When you start noticing dark thoughts and feelings that are bringing you down, or if you start noticing kind of addictive tendencies coming up, recognize that this is simply an attempt to capture your attention. Okay, the spiritual war is a war of attention. So here is the key to taking control of your thoughts and emotions. Realize that we are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions. Now, this takes me back to one day about 20 years ago. I was going for a walk with a new friend, and she was talking about how she had discovered that she could choose happiness. Okay. I listened to that. I thought it was the biggest crock of bull I had ever heard. But how can you choose to be happy? I thought. And at that point, I was completely identified with my own emotions. I didn't understand that myself and my emotions were two different things. That I, as a being, might be experiencing emotions, but I wasn't those emotions, okay? And that I actually did have the power to direct them. Okay, so this is a key concept to recognize. What do we do when we're feeling overwhelming emotions and some of the stuff that's coming up? It is just emotionally, it hits you over the head, right? So emotions are meant to be overwhelming. They're part of the creative process. When we feel emotions, it spurs us into action, and action is what manifests and brings things into reality in the world. Okay, so that is what those dark forces are trying to do. Capture our attention through the emotions so that we can take action that will bring about more dark happenings or darkness in the world, including within ourselves. So in other words, they're using us, right? But being aware of these emotions, when you become aware, you can step into that observer mode and take your power back. Even though you're feeling it, you can allow yourself to feel it. And then what we can do is start to recognize that emotions are fluid and we can work with them and direct them and even change and transmute them. And that's what we're going to explore in the next video. So you are more powerful than you know. Remember this week. Great. If you found this video helpful, do subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow, or like this video. If you're already subscribed, share it with anybody that you think could benefit from this. And if you'd like to go deeper with me, I have a couple of links down below. I will be giving away this little painting. It's called Emerald River, coming up on October 15th. And this has some healing energy within it to help us stay on the light side. And all you have to do is just sign up and you'll have a chance to win that this week. Also, you can sign up for my spiritual community with free spiritual get-togethers on Zoom. That link is below as well. You have a wonderful week, and remember, you were born to be free.